This is the story of Jed and his wife, Mae. When dust and sagebrush ruled the landscape of Dry Gulch, a small, struggling settlement in the Nevada Territory back in 1878, Jed and his wife, Mae, lived in a rickety shack that barely withstood the wind. They were as poor as church mice, living day by day, barely managing to scrape together enough coin for flour and beans. Behind their shack stood a lone, gnarled cottonwood tree, offering meager shade. One night, Jed had a vivid dream. A tall, weathered prospector with a long gray beard appeared. "Son," the old man said, "you live a hard life, but you don't curse your luck. That's a good quality. I'm here to help you. Ride east until you reach the Silver Creek Saloon in the next town over. Stand outside the saloon and wait patiently. A man will come to you and tell you exactly where your fortune lies. Be patient, though. He won't come the first day, maybe not the second. It'll likely be the third day you meet him." The next morning, Jed told Mae about the strange dream. She scoffed. "Dreams are like smoke in the wind, Jed. You'd do better spending your time mending that fence. We might sell a little extra jerky." Jed, ever the dutiful husband, followed her advice. He spent the day mending fences and sold the jerky to a passing ranch hand, buying a few extra supplies. By evening, the dream was a distant memory, but in the night, the gray old prospector returned. "Why didn't you go to the Silver Creek Saloon, Jed?" the man asked sternly. "Luck won't wait forever, you hear? Tomorrow you go to that saloon and you wait. If you make the best of what you hear, you'll be rich as a silver baron." The next day, Jed wanted to saddle his horse, but Mae stopped him again. "Don't chase ghosts, Jed. You made good money yesterday. Stay here and chop the rest of that firewood." So Jed stayed, missing his second chance. The third night, the old prospector appeared again, his eyes sharp and unforgiving. "You foolish man! I have given you 3 chances. I won't be back. Go to the saloon. Listen carefully to what is said. If you don't, you will always remain a penniless, helpless drifter." With that, the vision vanished. The next morning, Jed didn't argue with Mae. He packed his saddlebags with 3 days' worth of supplies and rode out before sunrise, silently following the trail east. He reached the bustling town of Oakhaven and found the Silver Creek Saloon. This had to be the place. He took a spot leaning against the wooden boardwalk outside the saloon and waited. Passersby gave him strange looks. Some cowboys chatted with him, but no one mentioned any treasure. He waited the entire first day, and the second. On the third day, tired and hungry, Jed began to wonder if he was just an old fool, wasting 3 days he could have spent working. Across the street ran a busy blacksmith shop, owned by a burly man named Gus. Gus had watched Jed loitering for 3 days straight and grew curious. At the end of the third day, he wiped his hands on his apron and crossed the dusty street. "Hey there, partner," Gus said to Jed. "You waitin' on a stagecoach that ain't comin'?" Jed explained his dream and how he was told someone here would give him information that would make him rich. Gus laughed heartily, a booming sound that made the saloon doors rattle. "Well, I'll be. That's the silliest thing I ever heard. I have dreams too. Just last week, I dreamt an old man told me I should ride out to a godforsaken patch of land by Dry Gulch, where a man named Jed and a woman named Mae lived in a shack. He said I'd find a chest of gold buried by an old cottonwood tree root. I dreamt it 3 times, but I got more sense than to chase fairy tales. I stick to my forge and make an honest living. You ought to do the same, friend. Go home and stop standing around like a lost calf." The blacksmith returned to his shop, but Yet's eyes widened. A man named Jed and his wife Mae, and a cottonwood tree behind the shack. Chet didn't need to hear another word. He sprinted to his horse, kicking up dust as he raced back toward Dry Gulch. He didn't even stop to go inside the shack. He yelled for Mae to grab the pickaxe. They ran to the old cottonwood tree. He hadn't been digging long when the pickaxe struck something solid. It was a heavy oak chest, banded with rusted iron. With Mae's help, they dragged the massive chest out of the ground. When Jed pried it open, they discovered it packed with Spanish gold doubloons, more than enough to outshine any baron in the territory. And so, Jed and Mae's lives were changed forever. They built a grand ranch house, ate the finest food, and wore tailored clothes. They didn't hoard their wealth. They helped their neighbors and contributed generously to the growing town of Dry Gulch. One day, Jed put on his best suit and rode his finest mare to Oakhaven with Mae by his side. They stopped in front of Gus the blacksmith's shop. Gus, seeing the wealthy couple, hurried out, bowing and greeting them kindly, thinking they were important folks passing through. Do you remember me? Jed asked with a smile. No, sir, said the blacksmith. I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Jed reminded him he was the ragged drifter who had waited on the boardwalk. He explained that because Gus hadn't believed in his own dream, Jed had found the treasure. Gus could have kicked himself right there in the dust. If he had listened to his intuition, he could have had half that gold. But Jed, a man of integrity, gave the blacksmith 100 gold coins as a thank you and ordered all his ranch's ironwork from Gus, ensuring the blacksmith prospered too. Sometimes the fortune you seek on the horizon is buried in your own backyard. Trust your intuition, have faith in the power of a persistent vision, and always remember to recognize opportunity when it appears, even in the most unlikely messenger. Subscribe to the Brightside Stories for awesome motivation.